evening. All right, and welcome to the January 27th meeting of the Nixa City Council. Call the meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Jay Ortiz.
Here.
Kelly Morris. Here. Sean Lucas.
Here.
Aaron Peterson.
Here.
Darlene Graham.
Here.
Zern Vess.
Here.
Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, has everyone had a chance to review the consent agenda? And if so, would anyone like anything removed? If not, I will accept a motion.
So made. Second.
First by Mr. Peterson, a second by Ms. Graham. Roll call, please.
Zern Vess.
Yes.
Aaron Peterson.
Yes.
Sean Lucas.
Yes.
Darlene Graham.
Yes.
Jay Ortiz.
Yes.
Kelly Morris.
Yes.
All right. Good to see a couple familiar faces in here. Mr. Lee, welcome back. Mr. Sanders, how you doing, sir? All right, first up, we do this yearly. We have a proclamation. Whereas Springfield's two Ronald McDonald House programs have provided a home away from home and an invaluable source of hope and comfort for families of seriously ill and injured children who must travel far from home for medical treatment. And whereas the two Ronald McDonald Houses located in Springfield, Missouri, allow their guests to maintain close contact with their seriously ill children by providing a secure and supportive environment at no required cost. And whereas the Ronald McDonald House near Cox South and the house at Mercy Kids have served the needs of 572 Christian County families, 139 of which are residents of Nixa. And whereas on Thursday, January 29th, 2026, 70 McDonald's restaurants and various other locations will begin showing their support by asking customers to share their heart by adopting a $1, $5, and $20 to Ronald McDonald House Charities of the Ozarks through the Share a Heart campaign. And whereas the following generous contributions have provided sponsorship funding and underwritten the cost for the Share the Heart campaign: McDonald's of the Ozarks, KY3 Television, Great Southern Bank, Mid-Am Metal Forming, and Color Graphic Printing. And whereas McDonald's of Nixa is participating in the Share a Heart campaign, which will continue through February 28th, 2026. And now therefore I, Jared Giddens, Mayor of the City of Nixa, Missouri, do hereby proclaim February 9th through February 15th, 2026 as Ronald McDonald House Week. Yay! So when you're at McDonald's, pay a little extra and get one of the hearts. It's definitely a good cause. And I don't believe we have anyone here tonight from Ronald McDonald House, but we will send over the proclamation to them, and hopefully it's another successful year. All right, tonight we have actually only one presentation. The second one listed on the agenda with Justin Orff is going to be pushed to another meeting. So first up, I believe, we have Navigate that will be giving us an update on the brand new Nixa Police Department building.
That's correct. This is Lori from Navigate. She's traveled down from St. Louis to give us an update. So I want to come up and introduce her first, and then I'm going to go sit back down.
Hi guys, like you said, my name's Lori. I'm with Navigate Building Solutions. We are owner's rep for the new PD facility out there. So this is our first construction update, or Navigate's first construction update for the council here. So I'm gonna really start from the beginning, how things have gone. We mobilized for construction in September. KCI is the contractor out there, and they've been pushing ahead since September. So they've got all the earth moving done. They've got foundations for the building in the ground. Good amount of site utilities are done. And the building, the entire concrete slab for the building is poured. They did all the underground roughing before that. They've got masonry walls, structural masonry walls are all installed. Structural steel erection started last week as well. So we're going vertical quickly, and upcoming on the building, we've got metal framing, metal decking on the roof, roofing, storefront. Those are all upcoming in the next few months. So things are moving smoothly on the building. Site-wise, utility installation is still ongoing, and we've even got some concrete curbs in place around the parking lot, so doing whatever work we can as the weather allows. Schedule-wise, we are on schedule, currently figured for a November 1 substantial completion. No issues or delays there just yet. Schedule risk-wise, we've got obviously weather and then any sort of change scope, right? But we don't see any issues coming down the road there right now. And then we did provide in the packet a financial update. I'm not gonna hit too hard on that. Biggest thing is they have billed by December, at the end of December, they had billed 16% complete. And we're getting monthly invoices from them, and that is jumping pretty quick. They're getting a lot in place, which is good. Our biggest budget risk is not really a risk, it's just changes, owner changes as we start coming up. So we have contingency set aside for those items. We are not concerned at this time. That is the most of our update, though. Do you guys have any questions?
So, there's been, for the past, I don't even know how many years, a lot of issues with supply chain. Do you foresee anything with the materials that you guys need to get, having any supply chain issues that could delay this?
No, we have not had any. With the materials on site, we're already procuring even the finishes. So the longer lead items are already being procured, and we don't see any issues with negative impacts to the schedule right now.
Awesome. Completely random question that has literally nothing to do with this one. Were you involved? I think there was one. Was it in St. Charles? It's a PD, fire department. It's all in one.
I personally was not, no, but I know that there are a few like that in that area, and I think we do have an individual in the office that I think was a part of one of those.
So this is one of the things that drives my wife insane. I kind of geek out on a lot of the government stuff, and I was there last year for the actually state swimming championship, and I was driving down the road, and I didn't really know a lot about Navigate, and I see this giant Navigate sign on their PD and all that, and I ended up reaching out to the mayor about 2 weeks later, and definitely made me, not that I had any doubts about you guys, but definitely made me feel a lot better about everything, because he said the process is not like anything he's ever experienced when it comes to development. So
Yeah.
that's good, because these things can be a little crazy at times. There's a lot, and I've said it
Absolutely.
before, there's so much that I didn't know, that I know about building, but I did not know about building a police department.
Yeah.
So it's good to have good people on our side, and especially watching our budget, so we appreciate that.
Yes, that's a big part of what we do.
Yes. Any questions from council? Thank you very much
right.
for being here, and
Thank you all.
we look forward to the next update.
Absolutely. Have a good one.
You too. I guess I should have asked, was there any questions from staff? Okay. All right, you're good. You too. Be careful. All right, next up, I will open up the visitors section. Mrs. Coffey, do we have anybody signed up?
Jeffrey Lee.
All right.
How are you?
Not bad. You doing all right?
Doing pretty good, thank
Family okay?
you. They're doing better.
Good.
Thank you for asking.
Good.
Let me just open this real quick. I had a proclamation request, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Okay, I know you're very familiar with the FFA kids. and I said I would come up here and try to advocate for it and just go over a couple of the things like their past achievements or current achievements, if you don't mind. National FFA Week is February 21st through the 28th this year. They're top 5 finalists in Soybean Innovation Challenge. They're to compete in that February 20th. We have, currently the FFA has 3 American degree candidates, Addison Spencer, Haley Baker, and Weston Hepner. 1 American degree recipient in 2025 was Taylor Miller. 2 state degree candidates, Aiden Choate and Callie Anderson. 3 area degrees, Alex Snow, Ariana Tate, and Emily Vanderweer. 1 Missouri SAE grant recipient, Charlie Soberowski. There were 15 area fall speaking competitors, 8 fall district speaking competitors, 3 advanced to finals and placed in the top 4 of the districts. Area FFA president is Callie Anderson. Finalist in the area FFA $1,000 scholarship went to Ivory Schoonover here in Nixa. And I think she's the chapter president.
Yep, I believe so.
This year they have a 2-star national chapter on the national level. At least 8 proficiency awards will be competed at the area on February 5th. 3 students applied for Missouri Ag Business Academy, and they're all sophomores. My daughter being one of them, I believe. Vet Science team, currently they're running 3rd out of 26 teams at the practice contest, so they're going to state February 6th. There was 101 toys collected for the Cox Toy Drive. In the next several weeks, they have freshmen applying for the HiMax, juniors for Hype, and Choir, and talent perform at the state FFA convention. Nixa also has 35 students signed up for various contests all through the spring. They got 2nd place in the Christmas parade, 8+ members volunteering regularly at Bradford Court once or twice a month. 10 members volunteered at least of these in January. And of course, I don't want to leave out the teacher, because without her, none of this would be possible. Her name is Miss Tiffany Kaufman. She's a Mizzou graduate from 2002. She received honorary American FFA degree for teachers in 2013. This award is given to those who advance agricultural education and FFA through outstanding personal commitment. Under Ms. Kaufman's teaching and leadership in the 24-25 school year, the Nixa FFA chapter received the Soy Innovation Challenge Scholarship at the 97th Missouri FFA Convention. Out of the state's over 360 chapters, the top 4 chapters traveled to the state's capital to present to a panel of judges. The Nixa FFA chapter received $10,000 in scholarship for their first place exhibit. The Nixa FFA chapter traveled to Indianapolis in October 2024 to be recognized during the 97th FFA National Convention as a 3-star chapter. The recognition follows their state ranking as being in the top 30 among Missouri's FFA's 360-plus chapters. These placings declared Nixa FFA in the top 4% of FFA chapters nationwide for excellence in activities and leadership, which you, Mr. Mayor, you presented the FFA with a certificate of achievement for those last year, I believe. Ms. Kaufman was selected in 2025 as Missouri's Teacher of the Year for Missouri Ag in the Classroom through the Missouri Farm Bureau. Missouri is home to nearly 90,000 farms, employs around 460,000 people in agriculture, forestry, and related industries, and has an estimated economic impact of $93.7 billion. Ag remains the state's #1 economic driver. In my opinion, we are fortunate enough to have the top best educator in the state leading our talented Nixa students to high achievements in our #1 economic industry. I am hereby requesting a proclamation from the mayor for the week of February 21st through 28th to run concurrent every year on the dates for the FFA week, and call it Nixa FFA week to recognize these students. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lee, and I couldn't agree more.
Thank you, sir.
We have a very impressive FFA. I didn't realize how much was involved, and the fact that technically they're new.
Yeah, I think they're only a few years old in the chapter.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Because Nixa didn't have FFA for so many years. And Mrs. Kaufman is absolutely killing it.
She
Just
is.
everything that she does is amazing. And that group of kids is unbelievably impressive. Not only have they done things at various locations, whether it's a nursing home or helping out at Nixa Sucker Days. They actually took over a job that some of us used to do, which involved trash.
Yeah.
And I got to talk to a group of them, and they were like, hey, you got any pointers? And I was like, actually, I do. Like, this is the weirdest thing that I've ever had, a little bit of knowledge in, and it was how to successfully dump a trash can in a giant dumpster without getting crap all over your legs.
Yes, sir.
And it didn't work every time because we were pretty dirty, but just such a good group of kids. And when you look at who the kids are, and then you look at who their parents are, there's a lot of parents of these kids that are involved in things in the community, whether it's Christy Anderson, who was a huge part of Christian County Least of These before she took another job, and her daughter is Callie Anderson, the
Callie,
one
yeah.
who is doing all sorts of things. I'm pretty sure I bought like 9 mums from her this past year. So just everything that they do, and then the opportunity that I got to attend their banquet, and just the ceremonial side of everything and what they do it's really amazing. And talk about having a servant's heart at a young age.
Yes, sir. And we're very blessed to have Miss Kaufman. I mean, she even taught a lot of my family members in other school districts, so I'm really happy she's teaching my daughter.
Yep,
Oh.
I would be too. So I'll tell you what I can do, since we have plenty of time. I'll definitely put together a proclamation for that. You got something to, wait,
So would you like to read it at the next meeting, which is February 10th, so that we would get it in before that week? Or we could read it on the 24th, which would be the last meeting of the month, which would be dead center of that week.
I will reach out to Mrs. Kaufman and see when they can be here. And we'll
Yes, sir.
do it that way, because I'd love for them to be here for that.
Thank you, Mayor.
And we will definitely make sure that happens every year from here on out.
Yep, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Lee. Good to see you.
Yes, sir, you too.
And if you do not follow the Nixa FFA on Facebook, do it. They are very impressive, and we should all be proud.
Ron Sanders.
All right. My name's Ron Sanders, and I would like y'all to just show everybody your surprised face, because I'm going to talk about something controversial. There you go. I'm going to brief y'all up real quick on the flock cameras. It was brought up last month by a young gentleman named Sean, and the Christian County MRA took up the mantle to dig into it and have a forum where we got together some people with knowledge from the government sector, from the law enforcement sector, from the IT, and from the constitutional aspect. And what I learned, and this is like hundreds of hours of learning, is that the police departments are pretty solid. They have taken on the challenge of making sure that the systems are used constitutionally through their policies. But as you know, policies at the lowest level, at the police departments, is not really, it's their responsibility to make policies, but it's not their responsibility to make sure that our constitutionally protected rights are protected. So, it's up to you guys, it's up to our legislators, and it's up to our subject matter experts to really dig into these companies and find out how they're operated. The next step, of course, is constitutionality of it. There are cases going through the Supreme Court and appellate courts right now that may determine whether they're unconstitutional or they're constitutionally limited as far as that goes. And I'm not going to speculate because I only have 3 minutes left. You guys didn't give me the 5 minutes from that one meeting I missed, right? So anyways, the recommendation is to really dig in. Flock is not the only company that provides automated license plate readers. Motorola, there's one called DRN, Recor, Genetec, Leonardo, PlateSmart, Vera Mobility, and there's like 8 or 9 other ones on there. And the crux of the matter is who owns the data and how is the data allowed to be used. And data can be collected for a really long time, but if we're all going about our business and they're collecting data on, if the government's collecting data on us as normal everyday citizens, and there is no probable cause that we've committed any crimes, does the government have the right to start collecting data on us? And how are they allowed to use that data once it's collected? It is where the whole issue lies with the constitutionality of it. And if that makes sense, that's great. It's a very in-depth subject, and it can be very complicated to understand. But it comes right down to, do we want to be surveilled throughout our lives? Do we want hundreds of cameras to keep track of where we're going and what we do? It infringes on our liberty because as soon as we know that we're being watched, we change our behaviors. We change how we exercise our liberty. We change who we talk to and what we do and how we do it. And that's not a free society. So, it really has to be measured in importance. The other thing that I discovered is eventually people are going to want to see the value out of their money. And that's where the abuse of the system starts to come in. You start to see detectives use it to try to accuse people of stealing packages, and you see other people start to abuse the system, for personal reasons and everything. And if we don't have policies, if we don't have laws and ordinances that hold people accountable when they abuse it, then our liberties are further infringed, and that's when it starts to cost our taxpayers a lot of money through lawsuits. So that is a very important aspect of it also. So to summarize, the police are doing an excellent job protecting us. The legislators up in Jeff City probably need to do a little bit more with actual laws that cover this stuff. When we decide what kind of vendor we want to use, we probably want to dig into it a little bit further and know exactly what they're providing, because they might be skimming the information and using it for their own nefarious purposes. And the Constitution, it might all end up in the toilet anyways, because once the Supreme Court rules, we may have to pull them and get rid of them all like we did the red light cameras, which cost a lot of people a lot of money, and then they all had to be, disallowed or disused and everything. And we don't want to do that either. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sanders. And I will say, I know there's been a lot of controversy over this, and this is where myself and the council, we trust our people, we trust our policies. I don't think for one second that we have an individual sitting over there skimming through all of the data that is caught on one of the cameras. Because honestly, if they have that much time, they could probably be doing something else. And I'm also a firm believer, I trust all my people. No matter what department they're in, or even outside of this and into my professional life, if I can't trust them, I'm going to fire them. I don't need them working for me. And we're pretty blessed in this city to have a lot of people that we can trust. We have every single one of our officers would literally do anything and everything to make sure everyone is safe. And the one side that it's kind of a struggle for me is there's a lot of things I can't say because it might be an ongoing investigation or there's things going on. But I know of some of the criminals that have been stopped because of the flock camera system. And I'm happy with the way that we use it and the way that we still protect people's privacy. But I can tell you the individuals that were arrested, for someone who has their kids out on the streets of this city, I've never been happier. I personally do not want people on our streets that really have no care for your life, my kid's life, definitely our officers' life. And I think we're doing a great job utilizing that resource and other resources. And honestly, not only am I with you, I'm pretty sure a lot of our officers are with you, and this council and the other people in this room that still want our freedoms. But I do know that if I'm driving down a neighborhood street inside the city of Nixa, especially in my neighborhood, while I drive down that street, there's probably about 30 people's phones that are dinging because I'm on camera. It's kind of become, you're always going to be on camera, especially on the road. Not that makes it okay, and the problem is behind every really good thing and good tool that we have, there's always going to be someone who abuses it. And there does need to be things in place that will keep that from happening. And I am glad that this is something that's been brought up. And I'm also extremely happy with the way that our department is handling it and the way that we handle all of the different avenues that we can take to make sure that our community is safe. So I do appreciate everything that everyone's doing to shed a light on something and make sure that it's used correctly. Just like social media, it's a blessing and a curse. It can be used for good, but way too often it's used for bad. So, thank you. And definitely thanks to RPD for everything that they're doing and how they're doing things right. Well, 3 of you back there tonight. I must be in trouble, so, okay. Okay, we currently do not have anyone else signed up, but if there is something that anyone in the room would like to speak on tonight that is not currently on the agenda, feel free to do so at this time. Just fill out a speaker card and say what you want. All right, fair enough. I will close the visitors section. And for the visitors that spoke, I appreciate you. Thank you. All right, we'll move on to our first reading of ordinances. Mrs. Coffey, could you please read Council Bill 2026-05?
First reading Council Bill number 2026-05, an ordinance of the Council of the City of Nixa authorizing the city administrator to apply for and accept recreational trails program grant funding and amending the 2026 annual budget in the amount of $100,000 to appropriate matching funds for said grant. Presenting as Parks Director Matt Kraus.
Good evening, Mayor, Council.
No.
It's been nice.
I'm
Thank
just
you.
Good to hear from you, Matt.
This is the recreational trail grant. If you may recall, we applied for this grant in 2025. We're not awarded that grant, but would like to reapply again in 2026 here for this grant for use as trail money for the Oaf Family Century Farm Park. The grant has a maximum ask of $250,000 and must have a 20% match minimum. The grant has a maximum ask of $250,000 and must have a 20% match minimum. The grant has a maximum ask of $250,000 and must have a 20% match minimum. The grant has a maximum ask of $250,000 and must have a 20% match minimum. The grant has a maximum ask of $250,000 and must have a 20% match minimum. The grant has a maximum ask of $250,000 and must have a 20% match minimum. The grant has a maximum ask of $250,000 and must have a 20% match minimum. The grant has a maximum ask of $250,000 and must have a 20% match minimum. The grant has a maximum ask of $250,000 and must have a 20% match minimum. The grant has a maximum ask of $250,000 and must have a 20% match minimum. The grant has a maximum ask of $250,000 and must have a 20% match minimum. The grant has a maximum ask of $250,000 and must have a 20% match minimum. The grant has a maximum ask of You'll notice that the $100,000 request is greater than the 20% match. That's actually a 40% match. Just to give us a few more points in that possibility with the grant. They grade the grants a little bit on a scoring criteria, as well as then what the project use for is for. And so by doing that, it could make up a few extra points for us in applying for the grant. That's why the 100,000. We would be using park impact fees as that matching fund if we want to use the 100 or less, but we must do at least a 20%, or we can go under as long as we're under that maximum ask. So if we want to ask for less than 250,000 in grant funding, we can also match with less funds, if that makes sense. But that's what the project would be used for. We are working with a few grant writers that we did in the previous year, and so they are still with us, and so this is just another opportunity to apply for some grant funding for the Oak Park and developing these trails for the community. I'm available if you have any questions.
Any questions? Thank you, Mr. Kraus.
Thank you.
No questions. I will open up the public hearing. If you would like to speak on this grant, do so at this time. And I will close the public hearing. Anything further from council? I have something further. I just want to say on this one, there are multiple reasons that this one excites me, and one because of movement at Oak Park. I think there's a lot of potential there, and especially a place for the community to be able to use, and not just our community. I think it's something that we need more of in this area, and people would like to see more of that. But the main thing that I'd say very proud about on this is the various organizations that are involved in helping us with this. It's really cool with the people that are involved. I love seeing people from all sorts of, the schools and economic development and everything, and chamber coming together, and even getting some help from potential elected officials or things like that. It's really great to see people standing up to help out this area, because far too often there is so much state funding that goes to places all over the state, and they really focus on, honestly, St. Louis and Kansas City. And I think if we've proven one thing in this region, and not just Nixa, our county, our neighbors to the east and west and north and south, everyone, we all do very, very good with the money that we have, and we don't get a lot of the funds that other municipalities get to make things either. So we have to save and pinch and do what normal people do and save up if we want something nice. Right. So I appreciate all the hard work from you and everyone else that's involved in this, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what comes from this, because I think our idea maybe 2 years ago of what a decent timeline would be is a lot further out than where we're at right now. So seeing the movement on this and seeing the support that we're getting, even outside of us and the normal people that are always the ones who meet to try to help the community, is huge. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
And you definitely have the support from myself and the council on anything you need. So thank you.
Very much. Thank you.
All right. Well, that is all for our first reading, so we will move on to our second readings. Mrs. Coffey, could you please read Council Bill 2026-01?
Second reading Council Bill number 2026-01, an ordinance of the Council of the City of Nixa approving the preliminary plat of the subdivision known as Oakhurst Phase 3, which is generally located along Timber Ridge Drive, and authorizing certain city officials to take certain actions upon filing of the final plat. Presenting is City Planner Brendan Justin.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. If you
look at the map just for reference. About the area being discussed this evening. Here's the entire preliminary plat for the Oakhurst subdivision, which was approved by council in May of 2023. Construction on Phase 1, which lies to the far east along South Truman Boulevard, began last year and is currently nearing completion. The area we're focused on for the subject preliminary plat is 5.63 acres. Is currently part of Phase 3 on this map, and part of Phase 4, which are in the northwest area, just to the south of where Timber Ridge Drive dead ends. You can see it on the map there to the north. If you could switch to the Bill 1, Map 1, please. And just briefly on this one, this is the map that shows the zoning of the subject property, and there'll be more on that later. But this does work to show the location of the subject property and how it fits into the surrounding neighborhoods more broadly. We can switch back to it later if you have any questions about either of these two maps, but we can move on to the next one. You'll stay on that same packet and just scroll down, please. Yeah, there you go. Thank you. So here's the proposed preliminary plat for Oakhurst Phase 3. They've juggled around some of the phasings as part of the proposal, but if this were to be approved, the construction would be included in Phase 3 of this development. Approval of this preliminary plat would create 10 new buildable lots, which would be awaiting a proposed rezone. Should both proposals be approved, the 10 lots would allow for 10 duplexes to be constructed, totaling 20 new units. The maximum density allowable on the 5.63 acres would be 30 dwelling units. Again, they're proposing to do 20 at a minimum lot size, of 8,000 square feet per lot. This document conforms with both the density and the dimensional standards required by code. All new lots would be served by Nixa municipal utilities. Water, sewer, and electric are readily available in the area. Water is stubbed out to the end of Timber Ridge Drive right now, and there's overhead electric that runs east-west along the north property of Phase 3. Additionally, all utilities would also be made available from the prior phases of Oakhurst development. Water would be connected at 2 points, one at the end of Timber Ridge Drive, and the other near Lot 1 there, which is the furthest southeast lot. So it would create a new loop. Looping the water lines helps to optimize pressure and reliability of service in the area. And appropriate easements for all municipal utilities have been granted. The proposed development would be required to conform to the City of Nixa's adopted stormwater management regulations. As part of those regulations, a sinkhole evaluation was performed in March of 2023. This evaluation identified 8 sinkholes for the entire development, 2 of which affect this subject property. You can see them there. It's sinkhole 6 and sinkhole 2. Avoidance is the accepted best practice for development near sinkholes, and the proposed preliminary plat avoids all sinkhole identified rims. You can see them, the dashed lines that are outlined. Stormwater regulations also address both flooding and stormwater quality concerns. Curb, gutter, and stormwater infrastructure would be installed and outlet to the common areas, which were designed for stormwater detention and would be maintained by the homeowners association. Those are the CA1 and CA4 lots on the east side of the plat there. The subject property would be served by Timber Ridge Drive, which is categorized as a local road. A traffic impact study is not required due to the classification of the streets, and there's no possibility of any through traffic. There's 50 feet of right-of-way was granted with 27-foot wide roads to be constructed. This allows for parking on one side of the road here. The cul-de-sacs are to be constructed to the standards set forth in the 2018 International Fire Code. This is primarily to allow for emergency vehicles to turn around. And one primary ingress-egress on Timber Ridge Drive is allowable since there are fewer than 30 dwelling units. The Planning and Zoning Commission voted unanimously to offer their recommendation of approval of the preliminary plat.
One citizen approached the commission and expressed concern about development in general. Concerns ranged from displacing wildlife to child safety and playing in the drainage areas. It was explained that the development was already approved, and these changes would actually create a less intense use of the land, and that seemed to kind of alleviate some of her frustration. All things considered, staff finds a preliminary plat to be in compliance with code sections 117-277 regarding density and dimensional standards, and 115-39, which relates to the requirements for platting a new major subdivision. And we offer our recommendation for approval as well, and staff's here if you have any questions.
Any questions? I think by the second reading, most questions have already been
Try to,
answered.
that's
But
what
we
I aim
appreciate
for.
you asking.
Sure, thank you.
I'm just a little disappointed you don't wear a tie anymore, but,
Yeah, next time.
okay, thank you. All right, if no other questions, I will open up the public hearing.
Ron Sanders, live at 976 Glen Oaks, which is just north of there. Just talking about infrastructure and the development of all that land south of Nixa as we bring it in. I know we have some problems on the north side with infrastructure as far as sewage goes and as far as water goes. How are the citizens gonna feel if we don't keep up with our infrastructure? Then we start having problems like low water pressure or backups in the sewage and everything. And then, of course, there's always, stormwater drainage and everything like that. It plagues the center of the city over there, but, this is kind of flat land also. Are we keeping up with the infrastructure, or is this going to eventually become another problem where we have to shut down development because the infrastructure is not keeping up with it?
Man, I am so glad you asked that question, because I get to talk about something I really like. So that is a very good question, and it's something that was honestly a huge concern of mine and some other council members about 5 years ago, because we weren't really focusing, well, I can't say we. Our Public Works Department was definitely focusing on it, but I don't believe at the time the council was, because we were looking at all other things going on in the city. So a lot of when a lot of developments that it's land that is already in the city, the allocation of the infrastructure there has already been spoken for that development. So they can handle that going forward. But we are currently so close to breaking ground on one of the biggest infrastructure projects that the city has taken on. And it will be, even though that area can already handle what is going to be built, it will upgrade all of the sewer infrastructure for the west and south sides of Nixa. We have a couple more property owners that we're working with. That's actually something that we'll be discussing here shortly. But that's going to go, it's a really long line of what we're adding in. I'd actually be more than happy to send it over to you, Mr. Sanders. But it is something that, and you said something in the middle of that was, turning down developments because of lack of infrastructure, and we have. And that was the one thing that was kind of alarming and disappointing to me, is we had commercial developments that wanted to come in, but we didn't have the infrastructure to support it, because that had already been accounted for future developments like this one. So we couldn't really add a single toilet on the west side of town. And that's not a good place you want to be in. Recently we had the decision by the council to reject annexation of a development on the northeast portion of Nixa, and which I think was a very, very good idea, because starting to see some water pressure issues in that area, and it's not, that is like the farthest, like northeast corner of Nixa, and then once you get outside of that, you're outside of the city. And so, years ago, the decision to really focus on the areas that we could successfully grow and continue to grow to where it doesn't pack everything into the center of the city was the west and the south. Now, when you get into stormwater, that's something that I've had to talk about a lot, actually, because, the regulations behind stormwater drainage and what's approved and what's not, that's changed a lot throughout the years, just like everything else. I mean, there's different research that's done. I mean, it doesn't matter what you're looking at, whether it's medication or stormwater or food or anything. You learn more throughout the years, and the regulations now with stormwater, I think when you look in the areas that have been newly developed throughout the city, you don't really see stormwater issues. The retention areas are holding up well. They're acting as they should. They're controlling the flow of water, so it's not flooding people downhill from it. When we have those areas that do get flooded, or where it's moving too fast and floods downhill, most of that's because of older code that we no longer have. We had another issue with a stormwater issue inside the city, and I was asked what would it take to bring all of this up to code, and really the answer was there was 2 houses that need to go, and because built in today's code, where those 2 houses are would be a water retention area. So that wasn't the right solution for the people that live in those homes. And that's where, the city can get a little crafty with other landowners and make some modifications to how the water drains and help those neighbors out. But from what we've been seeing and what I've witnessed, because it's another thing that probably drives my wife insane. I geek out on this as well. And when there's a storm, I'm not going to be at home. I'm driving around looking at areas where people have complained about stormwater. Same thing with the snow. I've been on every single road in this city in the past couple days, and I will address that later because I think our crews are absolutely amazing and the volunteers that helped out. But all in all, a lot of the areas that have been problems are getting fixed. I mean, one of the biggest stormwater projects that we continue to do that we're on the final phase of this year, it's already made a difference. And it's kind of interesting at some points because in a development in an older part of a neighborhood where the residents were kind of upset that the development was going to happen. And it wasn't necessarily a new development. It was a couple houses that were beyond repair that were torn down, and people wanted to rebuild. And there was concerns from the neighbors that the additional concrete and development would cause more stormwater issues. And it's actually made them better because the new development was up to the newest code, and it helped control the stormwater a lot better. So the long and short of that is, I really think that, our planning and development department is doing a great job on staying on top of what is the most beneficial. We could have very easily adopted the most updated code that's been released, but they are combing through everything and making sure that it truly fits us and the issues that we have, because our topography is a little bit different and a little bit frustrating at times for a lot of people, especially with the notorious sinkholes that we deal with. I feel like that's a cuss word in this city. But I think everyone's doing a good job, and the developers are also doing a good job of working with planning and development to make sure that they're not going to flood people next to them. And anytime there is an issue, I think we get it addressed pretty quick. So I do think a lot of the things that we have changed and that we haven't changed, because the newest code for building and everything is, I've read some of it. I mean, it's not great. It shouldn't be adopted as is, and that's why I'm glad that we don't just jump on the next best thing and adopt something as soon as it comes out and comb through it, which is a lot. I mean, it's kind of like our planning and development department has been tasked with restructuring the Bible, because there is so many words in this thing, and it takes a lot of work. And so I think it goes back to things that I've said multiple times about having the right people in the right place. And I think we definitely do, because they definitely look out for, and they know the city. They know the issues that we've had in the past, and they know what it takes to make sure they don't happen in the future. So as far as a lot of that, I think the responsible development is the key. And I think we do have a lot of people that are responsibly developing. We're not in any big hurry to get 500 new houses in the city in the next year. Because when you get into that, where you just want more people coming in, you end up kind of sidestepping some of the things that are important, and that's the stuff that protects all the residents that currently live here, just for the sake of development. And I'm not in favor of that. I don't believe anyone on this council is in favor of that. And I'm pretty sure anyone in the city is not in favor of that. So I do think we're doing the right things. This is something that honestly gets brought up all the time. And it's something that definitely needs to be addressed. And I hope more people understand the stance of the council and the staff. And we're not just rubber stamping developments left and right. It's got to be done correctly. And luckily, we have people we can trust, because like I said before, if you can't trust them, what do? You fire them. We haven't fired anybody. Scott's still here, so that's good. For now. For now. I mean, I can't replace you now. Brenda's not wearing a tie, so. But I do appreciate the question as well. More people need to know where we stand, because it wouldn't get asked as much. I will leave the public hearing open if anyone else would like to speak. And if you can speak longer than I can, I'll be impressed. I have as much time as I want. All right, I will close the public hearing. Anything further from council?
We are voting on these separately, correct? Or did we just do the first one? You didn't.
They're
read both?
separated
Yeah.
on this one, yes.
Becca
Yeah.
says yes.
Second reading, they are separated. Yeah. Good question, though. I had honestly already forgot we had done that on the last one, so thank you. All right, no further questions from council. Anything else from staff? Nothing else, I'll accept a motion.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
First by Mr. Vess, a second by Mr. Peterson. Roll call, please.
Aaron Peterson,
Yes.
Kelly Morris,
Yes.
Zern Vess,
Yes.
Darlene Graham,
Yes.
J.R. Tees,
Yes.
Sean Lucas.
Yes.
Motion carries. All right, next up in our second reading, Mrs. Coffey, could you please read Council Bill 2026-02?
Second reading Council Bill number 2026-02, an ordinance of the Council of the City of Nixa amending the official zoning map by changing the zoning classification of approximately 5.63 acres of real property located within the Oakhurst subdivision from R1 Single Family Residential District and R3 High Density Multifamily Residential District to R4 Two Family Residential District. Presenting is City Planner Brendan Justin.
All right, hello again, and summer's right on cue here, so thank you. So this is the rezoning portion of the preliminary plat that we just discussed. If you'd like to see the full Oakhurst plat again, we can pull it back up if you need to clarify anything. But for now, this is the zoning map, which should look familiar to you. So you can see the three separate zoning districts. We're primarily focused here on the orange R3 high-density multifamily section this evening. The developer is proposing to take 4.5 acres of the R3 zoned property, the orange property, and 1.1 acres of the single-family property, zoned R1, which is the yellow, for a total of 5.6 acres, and rezoning it to R4, which is intended for two-family attached homes. The R4 acreage that would be, or the R1 acreage, I'm sorry, the single family, that would be changed. It's all part of that common area for the detention, the water detention. And no single family lots would be lost in this proposal. If you could scroll down to the next map. And so, this is the area of the proposed rezone, which is the same area, just without the lots on it from the previous presentation. That was just approved, and there are currently, or there soon will be, single-family homes to the north, the east, Oxford, and south of the subject property. The remaining acreage to the west will maintain its R3 zoning for future development. On January 6th, the Planning and Zoning Commission voted unanimously to offer their recommendation for approval of this rezone, noting that this rezone would actually downzone to a lower density in housing, which would provide a transitional buffer zone between the existing single-family homes and future apartment development. Staff finds the rezone proposal to be consistent with the future land use framework in the comprehensive plan, which suggests multifamily residential use in the area, and we also offer our recommendation of approval based on that criteria as well. So also, staff's here again if you have any questions.
Any questions? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
No other questions, I will open up the public hearing. If you would like to speak on this, go for it.
Okay. Do we know exactly how many commodes are still available on the west side of the city for future development?
Oh, that's a good question. I mean,
I just wanted to give you a few more minutes to geek out.
yeah. I mean, I don't guess I know the right number. I mean, yeah, go for it. I mean, I like outside of just zero, but
Regardless of the actual number, we have stopped approving any new development that flows to the west, to the Oakmont lift station. This particular property flows directly to the treatment plant, so it doesn't go to the west.
rolls downhill, huh?
Correct. Does not need an extra push.
All right. Anybody else? I will close the public hearing. I will say, geeking out a little bit more, on to make sure that we would not miss out on any possible future commercial development that would be good for the city. We did pass an ordinance at some point last year that would allow a holding tank temporarily so they could move forward with the development just in case. So look at us go. All right. Anything further from council? More discussion about commodes or?
I'll just make sure we're pointing out that this is less commodes than was previously.
This is less commodes.
So,
yes.
if that's where we're going to count it now, less commodes and less people.
And less commode usage.
Okay.
Very good
Yeah.
point, sir.
As long as we're on the same
I
path.
appreciate the clarity. Thank you, Mr. Vess. Okay. If no more commode discussion, anything further from staff? Dennis, you got any commode questions? Okay, just want to make sure. All right, I'll accept the motion.
I'll make a
So-
motion.
I'll second it.
I have a first by Ms. Morris and a second by Ms. Graham. Roll call, please.
Sean Lucas,
Yes.
Zern Vest.
Yes.
Kelly Morris.
Yes.
Aaron Peterson.
Yes.
J.R. Ortiz.
Yes.
Darlene Graham.
Yes. I should clarify, Ron, these commodes will be in our district.
Less commodes.
Yeah,
in
there you go.
District 3.
And you were number 2 on your motion, so, all right, moving on.
Enough potty talk.
Yeah. Mrs. Coffey, could you please read Council Bill 2026-03?
Back in fast.
Second reading, Council Bill number 2026-03, an ordinance of the Council of the City of Nixa authorizing the city administrator to execute a wireline pole attachment agreement with WAN Communications LLC, presenting his interim Public Works Director, Travis Cossey.
Good evening. WAN Communications has approached the city staff requesting authorization to utilize our overhead utility pole infrastructure to attach with fiber optics. We do have an existing template that we utilize in just this circumstance to allow for pole attachment agreements. That pole attachment agreement provides, establishes the terms for connection, including the cost per connection, per pole attachment, a pole analysis procedures that are necessary but prior to attachment, make-ready requirements, as well as violation and termination terms whenever they do choose to exit our utility pole infrastructure. If this looks familiar, it's because you have authorized a multitude of pole attachment agreements with other vendors, most recently Ozarks Fiber, as well as Total High Speed approached the city requesting authorization to utilize our utility pole infrastructure. Using the template that we have provided to those customers, we're able to provide a uniform set of rules and guidelines necessary for utilization of our overhead electric. With that, staff has recommended approval of the pole attachment agreement as presented.
Any questions?
Do we use a commode account to figure out how much internet we need in town, or we've moved on?
I mean, I don't know, that's,
It's passed.
that's above my.
Moving on.
No other
pay grade,
questions.
so-
The movement has passed.
Oh. Apparently it's time for Travis to be quiet, so. All right, no other questions. I appreciate you, Mr. Cossey. I will open up the public hearing. If you would like to speak on this, free to do so at this time. And I will close the public hearing. Anything further from council? Anything further from staff? Nothing further, I will accept a motion.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
I have a first by Ms. Graham, a second by Mr. Peterson. Roll call, please.
Zern Vest.
Yes.
Sean Lucas.
Yes.
Kelly Morris.
Yes.
J.R. Ortiz.
Yes.
Aaron Peterson.
Yes.
Darlene Graham.
Yes.
Motion carries. All right. And the final ordinance for tonight, Mrs. Coffey, could you please read Council Bill 2026-04?
Second reading, Council Bill number 2026-04, an ordinance of the Council of the City of Nixa declaring the necessity of acquiring by condemnation certain permanent and temporary easements for the construction and maintenance of West Regional Collection System, and authorizing the city attorney and other city officials to take all necessary steps to secure such property rights, presenting as interim Public Works Director, Travis Cossey.
And we're right back to the commode discussion. For your consideration this evening is an ordinance authorizing the use of condemnation for a few property owners and tracts of land that we have been unable and unsuccessful in negotiating easements for the proposed West Regional Collection System. This gets right into the mayor's speech he was providing about infrastructure needs for the city. In 2022, we did identify a large regional collection system that was needed to accommodate both existing ratepayers and future ratepayers in southwest Nixa. This area has been has infrastructure that has reached its lifespan and is unable to accommodate any additional users. The Oakmont lift station is flowing at capacity, so in order to allow for existing properties within the existing city limits, as well as open up with several thousand acres of development in the west and southwest portions of town. This collection system was authorized by the city council in 2022. Since that time, staff has been moving and working diligently to provide a construction program for this lift station, as well as obtain all the easements necessary. This is a very large project, and it goes right through the heart of Nixa, so we had a large amount of easements that we needed to obtain. We have been working very diligently with those property owners to reach the best possible solution to obtain those easements. Unfortunately, we have these 4 remaining tracks that we have been unsuccessful and have reached a complete roadblock, and they have become an impediment to moving the project forward. For that, staff is requesting that council authorize the city to move forward with condemnation necessary to allow for this project to move forward. I do need to point out one thing. At our first reading in January 14th, on page 5 of the ordinance, track 3, we did identify a typo. In the first paragraph, it identifies the temporary construction easement for lot 95 in Jack's Place. Subsequent to that, on the bottom half of the legal description, it referred to lot 94. It is lot 95, so the ordinance in front of you tonight has provided that minor change in the ordinance that was presented to you on the 13th to remove the typo and make sure that the legal description authorizes the use of condemnation for lot 95 in Jack's Place.
Perfect. Any questions? Thank you, Mr. Crosby. All right, no other questions. I will open up the public hearing. It's going to be another crappy speech.
Yeah, it's a crappy situation. So condemnation, for everybody out there that doesn't know the term, this is like eminent domain being used to take certain areas of people's property. So when we're reading all of this, we have to understand that we are interfering in people's lives, and more than likely we're going underneath their property or around their property, just so people out there don't get confused. Is the city making sure that we are minimally disrupting anybody's lives during this process? And are we making sure that they're made whole, in the process of the eminent domain taking? Like if we're digging underneath their property, are we going to make sure we repair it? Are they going to be compensated for whatever property is going to be used? And, those types of things, I think, don't come up if you read the text of the ordinance. But, the people of Nixa, they might be questioning this, are they going to be coming through my subdivision next? And what are they going to be trying to do to my property? So where are we at, with actually, are people just objecting to having sewer lines going underneath their homes? Or are they just trying to get more money out of the whole situation? Or is it a principle thing, you have no right to mess with my land type stuff?
And that's a great question, Mr. Sanders. And going back to, honestly, to the great people that we have, they have done a really good job during this entire process that has been going for, 4 years, explaining with the homeowners, and a lot of them, honestly, those words, the condemnation, that can sound scary and intrusive. But the majority of the people that we needed to get easements from, once it was explained to them and they understood, how the process works, they were all for it. In my opinion, and I guess you could say my professional opinion, because I am in that world in my professional life, I believe we went above fair market value on a lot of things to help them out, so we didn't incur any additional cost on the taxpayers, and by doing all sorts of things that could have made the process go a lot longer. However, the times that we have roadblocks, in my opinion, it does revolve around money. And a lot of times, you know, expecting and thinking that we joke about it, money trees growing back here that we can just go pull from anytime we want is far from the truth. We run on things very, very tight. And when, you know, it is a line going under the ground, and none of them are going under any homes. They're typically, the way this is designed is to be a lot less intrusive on property owners and not go directly through the middle of their property. It goes really close to property lines, and I will say we're very blessed. The school worked with us and gave us a huge easement to go through the campus of the high school and Matthews Elementary, and so that saved us a lot of work. But it will be put back the way that it was before, and I would assume that if it's not, we're definitely going to know, and we'll send them out to make it right. But typically, when you have 600 square feet of a little bit of frontage of your property, and you think it's worth $3 million, there's not really oil or gold under the ground out here. It's most likely going to be a sinkhole. So as much as I would love to have oil under the ground out here, we don't have that. But our guys really did a great job explaining the whole process, what we were doing, the goal we were accomplishing, and what that meant for the future of Nixa, and worked with a lot of the people. And considering how many easements we had to get and how far this new line has to go, the few that we've had to actually go ask a judge to let us move forward, it's pretty amazing. It says a lot for our people, and it also says a lot for the members of the community. At no point during that process, even when it does go to court and go to condemnation, they're taken care of. I mean, they are still paid even after that fact. So it really works out for everyone involved. And we will make sure, because I know how our guys work, we will make sure that it is put back the way that it should be. And any issues that we have, we'll make sure it's right. That's for sure.
Better
So,
than AT&T.
well, and we deal with that often with other third-party vendors, with running fiber and deals like that. My street, we had 9 driveways cracked from them running fiber, and we did get involved. The city did. We reached out. They came out and replaced 9 driveways. So that was pretty amazing how, they know that's part of it. It has to go back that way. And it doesn't make sense to not take care of our people. And the good thing is they'll see it once and hopefully never see it again, because that means that the system works great and we won't have to get to it. So, but good question. All right, the public hearing is still open. If anyone else would like to speak on this, do so at this time. And I will close the public hearing. Anything further from council? And just so everyone is aware, if they do have an issue, whether it's third party running fiber or when we start this project, yes, they can contact their council members or myself, or they can call City Hall. City Hall seems to be very helpful. We got great people. All right, if nothing further from council, I will accept the motion.
So made.
I have a first by Mr. Peterson, a second by Mr. Lucas. Roll call, please.
Sean Lucas,
Yes.
Kelly Morris,
Yes.
Aaron Peterson,
Yes.
Darlene Graham,
Yes.
Jay Ortiz,
Yes.
Zern Vest.
Yes.
Motion by Mr. Peterson is approved. All right, next up, we will go to our resolution section. Mrs. Coffey, please read Resolution 2026-05.
Resolution number 2026-05, a resolution of the Council of the City of Nixa authorizing the offering of special obligation bonds for sale, presenting as Finance Director Jennifer Evans.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. The resolution you have before you is called a go-to-market resolution. The city plans on issuing bonds for the financing of the Ashley Drive Water Tower, the sludge holding basin, and the Southwest Regional Lift Station, which we've talked about this evening. We are packaging all of them together in one bond issue to save on cost of issuance. And so what this resolution does is it just clearly states what our intention is, and so that council is informed and on board, because our bond counsel and municipal advisor need to do certain things ahead of time and prepare the official statement, the notice of sale, and the preliminary official statement. And they want to just make sure that council is on board with everything. So that's what this resolution does, is it says, yes, as a council, we are aware, we are on board with this. We have estimated that these three projects in combination will cost about $19.5 million. That number is probably going to be more zeroed in on when we get closer to issuing the ordinance, the bond ordinance, which will probably come to you in April, and that will be the more official document. But right now, our engineers are kind of, they've given us kind of a wide swing of it could be this or it could be that. So we've estimated kind of high, and but we're not held to this number. We'll have a better figure for you with the ordinance in April. But the sale is anticipated to happen in May and the funding in June, so that we can get started right away. I think the lift station is probably the number one thing that we'll be going with first. So if there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer them for you.
Any questions? Thank you, Mrs. Evans. All right, no further questions from council. I will open up the public hearing. And I will close the public hearing. Any further discussion from council? No. Anything else from staff? No input, Mr. Kraus? Mr. Hines, have you got anything? You've been quiet all night. You got anything? You've been quiet all night, so. I like bonds. I bet you do. All right. If nothing further, I will accept a motion.
So moved.
Second.
First by Mr. Lucas, a second by Ms. Morris. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. All right. Next up, Mrs. Coffey, could you please read Resolution 2026-06?
Resolution number 2026-06, a resolution of the Council of the City of Nixa authorizing the city administrator to execute a funding agreement with Nixa Land Holdings LLC, presenting as Assistant City Administrator Cindy Robbins.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. The City of Nixa was approached by a developer, Nixa Land Holdings, regarding a proposed mixed-use development. The developer, during our discussions, has expressed interest in seeking city assistance through a potential public-private partnership or the use of economic development incentive tools. In order for us to do our due diligence, the city's retained Gilmore & Bell, PC, as our legal counsel, and Baker Tilly as the municipal financial advisor. Currently, the city does not have designated funding source, nor do we have a policy to cover the costs associated with the review and the evaluation of the project. As a result, staff has requested the developer enter into a funding agreement with the city, which requires the reimbursement of the actual out-of-cost expenses. The agreement requires the developer to deposit $20,000 with the city to reimburse the city for eligible expenses outlined in the agreement that was included in your packet. Once these fund balances drops below $10,000, the developer must deposit funds in order to increase that back up within 30 days of notification. Funding agreement was outlined in the memo and also included in your packet. Staff does recommend approval of the resolution, and I'm available if you have any questions.
Any questions?
I'm kind of curious, and you may not be able to tell me, the general area where they're proposing this development.
It is
I just want to remember.
the south part of town.
Okay, I just want to make
Outside
sure I
of-
had it right. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought that's what it was, but I wanted to make sure.
Okay.
Any other questions? All right, no further questions. I will open up the public hearing.
Oh, that's right. I can't remember.
If you would like to speak on this, do so at this time. And I will close the public hearing. Any further discussion from council? Anything else from staff? Fantastic. I will accept a motion.
So moved.
Second.
First by Mr. Lucas, a second by Mr. Vess. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. Okay, so as we wrap this up, I do want to give a huge thank you to Jeff Russell and his crew and every other person who volunteered and kept our trucks running to plow the roads. I know this one was a difficult one. It was one of those, you do a bunch of work. It's kind of like vacuuming the floor and then the dogs come in with muddy feet. You do a bunch of work and then look back out and it's covered again. So I appreciate them and everything that they've done, and they're honestly really great attempts to accommodate a lot of requests from the community, even when it's not something that we would normally be able to do, because a lot of that is very time consuming and they have a lot of roads to take care of. I can't thank those guys enough, and it says a lot when not just all the employees are out there, but the superintendent is out there as well, and literally everybody else. So, and I'm a firm believer of don't ask someone to do a job you're not willing to do yourself, and I can tell you he's definitely willing to do it, and everything else. And also a huge thank you to the PD. It was cold. and I know most of you probably didn't want to be out in that, but nothing stops you guys. So I appreciate all the police officers that worked throughout all the days, and still it's really not warm outside to this day, but just continuing to do all your work to keep everyone safe, and dealing with a lot of the people that probably shouldn't even have been out on the road, but sometimes you got to get to McDonald's or Walgreens or whatever, and it is what it is. So I can't, you can tell a lot, and I've said it before, you can tell a lot about the people you work with by what happens in a little bit crazier situations or high stress situations, and it never fails. Whenever the city administrator goes out of town, something happens. He won't ever go out of town and it'll be sunny and 65.
Just a few snowflakes.
Yeah, just a few snowflakes. So that's always interesting. And coincidentally enough, the chief goes out of town too. I mean, come on. And the county commissioner, so. No, I appreciate everything that everyone did, and anyone who, on the council as well, who responded back to the constituents asking questions, and because a lot of people just, want to know. They might not all be on social media or whatever. And speaking of social media, a huge thank you to the communications department for the work they did throughout the storm. I'm pretty sure Donovan even got to ride around with some of the guys, got some great video. He made snow plowing look cool. It might have been one video we should have cut the audio on, but like they said, he better not hit that. That was on the video, and I could tell whose voice it was. That was awesome. That's one thing I love about this whole group is we do it real, and that's all that matters. So can't appreciate you guys enough. I really wish. I was a little upset to not see Mr. Sanders at my house to help me shovel my driveway for 2.5 hours, but he's got other civic duties, I'm sure. Anything further from council? Anything further from staff?
I believe Summer would like to talk about strategic plan.
Well, that would be fantastic. Miss Summer, come on up.
This is on. There we go. Okay. Hello, Mayor and Council. We are still taking applications for volunteers for our Strategic Planning Committee. So I just wanted to remind everyone that is watching that you can sign up, and just remind you guys, if you know of anyone you think might be a great fit, to please share that application form. I did pin it to the top of our Facebook page, the city's Facebook page, so you can find it there. Or if you go to the website, you can type in the search bar strategic planning, and it should be the second link that pops up. But if you have any questions, just send us a message on Facebook or send an email. So we still need volunteers. We're excited to kick off in April and looking for right fit citizens. So whether you're retired or a stay-at-home mom or stay-at-home dad, or you have a PhD and all levels in between, we really would like a good cross-section for this. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Looking forward to what comes out of this next strategic plan.
And just as a reminder, next month, the P&Z meeting will be held February 3rd at the Police Department's training room. And then our council meetings will be moved also, starting in February, to the Fire District's Training Center on North Main. Pardon? One.
The one on Main Street.
Right next
Yep.
to junior high.
They've been
I do
very
appreciate-
graciously allowing us to use that new facility.
Yep.
It'll
I
be great.
appreciate Chief Wallace and the fire department for allowing us to use that. And I also appreciate Dr. Loden and the schools for offering up multiple of their spaces as well. So and Matt. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. I mean, you didn't have as much of a choice, so. No, we appreciate you, Matt. It's great to know that we have support from everyone, so it'll be a little bit different having a meeting somewhere else. And then once we get back here, we'll be able to house a lot of things, so thank you. All right, anything else? All right.
I was just told that at the Fire District Training Center, we will not be able to live stream. We will load them up on the YouTube channel the next day, correct?
Yes, I believe that's it. We can't live stream, but we will upload them after the fact,
Yes.
correct?
Correct.
All right. Right. That was pretty for sure. Perfect. All right, well, thank you all very much. Everyone be very careful driving home. Meeting is adjourned.